create or to introduce new product or new service or new business model. Number three, the objective number three, to increase the intimacy between the company and their suppliers and customers. Because you have systems that can bring you up. Number four is the decision making. I would like to make sure, is my sound okay? Is my sound, can you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
My sound clear. Thank you. So as we say, we have six objectives. One, operational excellency, introduce new product. Second, number three, increase and create intimacy between customer and supplier and your company. Number four, improve decision making. Yes, improve decision making can help if we invest with information system. Number five, to sustain competitive advantage. Number six is to survive. These three six objectives why companies would like to invest with information system. Yes, this is the main objective. Here is other objectives. So today we are going to explain something which is a part of this chapter. We already know that the problem solving approach. Why we have to know? Why we have to know that? Uh, I mean this process because everyone, you as a student, you have to know that how to solve a problem. Yes, how to solve a problem because the new job when you get graduated and you're looking for the job, you have to have this skill. Why to have this skill? Because the business owner and where you are going to to have a job, they will ask you. Yes, they will ask you. Okay, just a second, please. Okay. They will ask you this one, and during interview, they will have to know that are you capable to have this problem solving approach? You as a new or fresh graduate, it is required that to have this problem solving approach skills because it is a soft skills. Other than that, you have to think critical or in a critical way. That's mean you have to have critical thinking skills. What do we mean by critical thinking? Critical thinking does mean you are someone looking for different perspectives when you are going to solve a problem. Yes, you're digging down to solve a problem, but critical thinking does mean you can find different solutions that could solve the problem because you are considering more than one factor. Because what is happening could be from different angle, could be happen from or affected by different factors. Let's say critical thinking is very important to make a decision. Why? Because you depend on numbers. You depend in something accurate. So the decision that you are going to make is right. So I would like to mention that a problem solving approach. Have you explained last class? I ask you. Have we explained last class? I mean, previous meeting. Do we explain the problem solving approach? Do we explain this? I am asking you. Until what chapter? Until what slides we already finished? Until what slide? You can write me. You can write me in the chatting box. Uh, I am waiting for you to tell me until what slides, previous class. Please write it down here. Oh, okay. So in this case, I have to explain this problem solving approach deeply. So what we mean by that? That's good to remind me because other classes I already passed this slide. So what is a problem solving approach? So let me explain the problem solving approach. This approach means how we solve a problem, how we could and we try to solve a problem. Companies they are facing a problem, different problems. Some problems are straightforward, means it is easy to be solved. But there is some problems we need to make more focus. We need to look down what is the I to identify the problem itself first and to look down. I mean from different perspective, from organization perspective, from technology perspective, or people perspective. These problems could come from this kind of perspective. Uh, could be with organization problems, could be with the technology that we would like to bring technology, or could be with people that we would like to bring more training to them. Yes, for sure. Good managers, they have to think from these different perspectives. What is the model of a problem solving approach? Here we are looking for the model of a problem solving approach, which is four steps. The first step is we have to identify the problem first. Before we start doing anything or to solve a problem, yes, you have to know the problem. Number two, you have to design solution from different experts. Maybe you call for proposal. Could that problem could be solved in different ways? That's why we are looking for designing solutions. We have after that to evaluate these solutions and choose one of them. One of these solutions in step number three. Number four, we have to implement a selective solution. We will go one by one. Yes, the solving a problem approach, process number one, we have to identify the problem, or we call that problem identification. How we could identify that? We have to make sure that everyone in the company understand that we have a problem. So management workers that we have a problem and we already discussed and we everyone believe that there is a problem in the company and we would like to solve this problem. So we have to agree that we have a problem exist. Management should agree that. Then we have to define to make a definition of the problem. The problem is with revenue or the market share or the problem with the customer satisfaction or the problem with the quality of product. What's the real problem? Sometimes you are good with the good product. Sometimes you have a very good satisfaction, but still that your ordering process still need to do improvement. Means you can do more operational excellencies. You can do better. You do better. That's mean you will generate more profit. So you do it. So to finish the problem, what is the problem itself? Then what are the causes of the problem? Yes, because when you have a culture like that, it is easy and more effective and efficient way that you could find because everyone working as a team to solve the problem. The causes of a problems could be different causes. So you have to look. Could be with different perspectives. Could be from organizational side. Could be from technological side. Could be from people. And we will explain these some typical problems from different perspectives or dimensions, different kind of problem dimensions. And what can be done given resources of the firm is companies do have a problem, but how they can solve the problem. It is easy to solve the problem. They have capability because we have different company size, small company, medium sized company, big company. It could be one of these. So, what is the size of the company? What are the resources? What are capability? What is our capability with the company that we can use to solve a problem? For sure, the, the big company like any, for example, a KFC. KFC is an international company, while Mary Brown is not international. I, mean, I don't know if it's international or, but it is not the same size like uh, KFC or a small restaurant in any small town. It is a company, but it is a small company. So how to solve a problem based on that? And what are the resources we have? Is a huge gap between these different type of companies and also the problems. So let's go one by one to understand. We have some problems. We could look for that problem from different perspectives, and that problems could be one of these. So the good managers, when they're looking to solve a problem, they have to look for that problem from different perspectives. What are these some problems, or we call that the dimension of a business problems? The dimension of a business problems could be come from organizational side, could be come from technology side or technology dimension, could be come from people dimension. So, what are the typical organizational problems? These typical organizational problems could be some problems like outdated business process. The business process is outdated. So the companies would like to do updating, to do improvement for the business process. It could be the problem from unsupportive culture and attitude. Yes, the culture. The culture is very important. Collaborative culture among workers and management and departments is very important. How to do that as a team? Because the the corporate objectives is the objective of one company. Political infighting, the kind of political infighting that some organizations employee could bring to the company or management sometimes. It is wrong. Yes, yes, your politics or your part of uh, beliefs regarding the politics shouldn't bring to the place that you are working. Because some people believe in something, other people believe in something. So the fighting or political fight is could be raised up in that company. Yes, this is wrong. Other thing is turbulent business environment. Yes, for sure, the business environment is going to change from time to time. So other thing is complexity of task. Some tasks are very big. Those companies have to look back for the tasks. The tasks to be performed by one person or one section should be split to two tasks. Why? To make it more and easy to be accomplished. Because you cannot do a task yourself, for example. When we talk about a group assignment, for example, group assignment cannot be accomplished by you. You have to have five students to work together. Other than that, individual assignment could be accomplished as an individual task or individual assignment. You can accomplish by your own self. I will discuss with you regarding that group assignment later, not today. So, inadequate resources. Yes, this is a part of organizational problems that could exist. So, a good manager, when they're looking for problems, you have to consider this dimension also. And this kind of problems be when you are looking to solve a problem in your company, you have to think of that. This is a like an index or guidelines for management. This kind of dimensions or problem or business process or business problems dimension in organizational perspective. Look, let us look for the second dimension or the other problems that could come from technological side. What are these problems? This kind of a problems could be looked at. Management they have to consider this a problem when they have when they have a problem with a company. They have to make sure that do we have this kind of a problems? That means you cannot just ignore it as a because could be one of the problems exists with your company. So what is this problems or typical technology problem? Be insufficient or aging hardware. Insufficient means that the hardware is very old. Outdated software. For a long time, your software, you didn't do maintenance or updating. That's why companies from time to time, they have to update their systems. Yes, even you buy that systems from the outside, outsource. That company outsource will give you that software. You have to come to your company to do updating and to do maintenance sometimes. Yes, some companies they when they sign a contract, they sign a contract for maintenance, weekly, monthly, yes, quarterly, like that. Other thing, inadequate data capacity. This could be one of the problems. Some companies, small companies, when they have uh, the capacity is not enough. So they have let's say that the server is very old, for example, or that company data centers is not enough to cope with a huge demand from your customer. We have to update that. We have to bring more database capacity because we are expecting huge traffic with our database. Insufficient telecommunications capacity. It's very important. This is how to connect each other. Yes, the connect and the network telecommunication is very important. In incapability of all system with the new technology. Yes, yes, this is belong to the software or the system that you have. System that you have to make sure that you have to update. Let's say that the Windows. How many versions that we have? For last 20 years, a lot of versions that came out. We use them, and there is a lot of options. Yes, as remember that Windows 1993, Windows 1995, and 1998, and was 2000. At the time, we use Windows 2000, but it is very limited functions there. But now you see the window now. It is a huge functions there, and also the size. Do you know the window now is huge size? We can call gigabyte. Yes, gigabyte. So it is very huge uh, as an operating system or as a system. That's why it can cope with a lot of things. Can cope with a lot of things Okay. Okay. Just to be sure, uh, can you see the slide now?
Can, sir.
You can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Thank you. As we see that when we solve a problem, we have to understand that the problems come from where. So it is very important as a managers when they solve a problem to look down for this kind of problems and from different perspectives. Okay. Other than that, typical problems could become from rapid technological change. So that companies would like to do updating every 5 years. Every 5 years to do kind of updating. Because it is investment. Do you know how much companies could spend? It depends on the company size. Some companies they spend millions. Yes, they spend billions to do this kind of updating for the system. So as a management, also we should look down to the problems that could come from people, or we call that typical people problems. What are these problems that could come from that side? So what we mean by that problems? Yes, our president could face this kind of problems. We have to look when we have a problem. We have to consider this to look after that. So among the problems that could happen and could exist is the lack of employee training. Other than that is difficulties of evaluating performance. Sometimes it is very important to have to evaluate. Yes, we have to evaluate our employee. We have to have legal and regulatory uh, management. So it could be some kind of a compliance. Work environment. Work environment is very important. Ergonomics. Poor or in decisive management. Lack of employee support and participation. Yes, it is very important to look back all of these factors because could be one of the causes of the problem. Okay? So we still when we just discuss about that typical approach or problem approach is the first step, right? So the problem identification, we have to identify the problem from three perspectives. So these are the three perspectives that we look after. Is organizational problems, teacher problems, and people problems. Now, the second step in the problem solving approach is solution design. Yes, solution design. Maybe yes, and often that we have this many possible solutions. And we have to consider as many as possible to understand the range of solutions. Could be different solutions from different perspectives, organization, technology, and people. After we design a solution, we have to evaluate that solution. Why? Because we have to choose one. We have to choose. This is in the approach or the step number three. So we have to take one. When we would like to take one, we have to evaluate first. So we evaluate that solutions could be solution A, could be solution B, could be solution C. We should evaluate these solutions. How we can evaluate them? We have some factors that we use to evaluate our solutions. The first factor is the cost. Yes, don't tell me that I bring solution. Yes, I can bring solution from the high or the first class companies, but it costs millions. Your company cannot. Yes, cannot offer it. So it depends on your size, depends on the company size that you should choose choose the solution. So we have to evaluate that solutions based one the cost, the other one the feasibility given resources and skills that we have with our company, the resources that we have, and the time that needed to implement. Yes, sometimes the solution takes years. Yes, years. So do you have the time for that, the resources for that? Because if you don't have enough resources, you will collapse after certain months. Because, for example, ERP, enterprise resource planning. This is a kind of a system that includes all activities of any company, whatever the size of the company. So those companies who fail, yes, because the rate or the percentage of failures, those who fail to implement or to practice to implement that ERP in the business is almost high, almost 65% from companies who try to apply ERP but they fail because of that reason. This is that reason. So the problem here is when you choose the solution, we have to consider that factors. What else is implementation? After we select the right solution for us, for our company, that suit our company, based on the factors that we mentioned, it is now the time to move to the fourth steps, which is to implement the solution. That solution could be to build the system by your own, or to build or to do something by your own, or could be to purchase that solution from outside. Because some companies they are expert or consultation and expert in business process or in culture. That professional companies or consultancy companies, they can provide this kind of services. So we can bring for them or we ask them to come to help us. Then we have to test that solution and we give our employee training. Good. Who is going to use that? Or what is the new procedures that our workers going to use? It is very important to consider the training. Yes. Change management, because new solutions need to do changing in the management. Don't tell me that you would like to use the same way without improving. Yes, without improving is nothing because the, the, the time you have to cope with that because you are not playing business alone. You are dealing with different businesses. Measurement of outcome is for sure. You have to know what things will come. You you are buying CRM or the system that connects you with your customer, or you are building app, or for example, online business, your company, or that your company now they have using application, mobile application. What is outcomes that you have from using that application? You have to know that because this is the beef. Why we use that application? Because we are looking for the benefits from that. So the outcomes should be measured also. Feedback, evaluation of solution. We have to do feedback from time to time. I mean, it is timely feedback. Why? Because the problems could exist any time. Have to have a feedback from that solution that we are using to improve our sales, to improve, for example, customer order processing, with our customer to even workers. that are satisfied. Why? Because your workers, when they are satisfied with their job, they will do their best. Yes, based on the capability. Time the training is very important for your workers. Why it is important? Because a degree builds skills. This is the step number 4. One thing you should understand that is a problem solving is a continuous process. Why? What we mean by that? We mean that it is not a single event. Means we solve the problem this month or 2 months and then we just forget. You have to understand that in a business, yes, in a business, which is very important to keep going. Means it is very important to do continuous improvement. And this problem solving approach skills you as a new graduate or workers or to get a job, you have to have that because you can sustain your job and get improvement. And for sure, you could help your company to solve the problems in this way. In this way. Because you have that skills, problem solving skills. For sure, that problem solving skills is a continuous process. For anything that faces problems, you have to propose solution and make improvement all the time. Because the solution that you took could not be suited your company 100%. You need to do some adjustments. Yes, some adjustment that can suit the new solutions or the new way of doing business or the new system that you bring to your company. So it is important to say that. Let's move to this figure. This figure sum up everything. What they sum up that the first step looks at problem identification, solution design, evaluate and choose the solution, then do implementation. You notice the feedback. That feedback is very important. Now we move to critical thinking. Yes. In problem solving. When you have two skills, problem solving approach skills and critical thinking, it is very important. These come together. Why? Because management without critical thinking, they will do bad things. Yes. They are doing nightmare. Why? Because they will make a big mistake when they make a decision. That's right. How? Because they easy jump to the conclusions, they misjudgments a problem, they do a waste resources. Because they didn't have a critical thinking and based on real information and the skills that many people they have. So critical thinking sustained. What do we mean by critical thinking? We can define critical thinking sustained suspension of a judgment with an awareness of multiple perspectives and alternatives. What we mean? We stop to use a judgment. Yes. And we have to think about the different perspectives and alternatives. What we mean by alternatives here, we mean our perspectives. We mean that when we are looking for the problem approach, we have to consider the three aspects, three different dimensions, which is that we call or we have to understand the right solution from again from organizational perspective, from technological perspective, from people perspective. So this is a critical thinking. You shouldn't look just from one angle, from different angles or different. So ability to collect and analyze data that might help understand the nature of the problem. What we mean data-driven approach means based on that, based on the data that you have, you can come out with a different side. and analysis that can help you to understand the problem itself. So critical thinking is very important. Soft skill. Problem solving approach is a very important soft skill. Why? Because it is something out that it is hard to get the job nowadays. This skill is very important. Right? Now, the role of critical thinking in the problem solving. If you ask, how we can use critical thinking when we would like to solve a problem? Critical thinking, you have four elements here. Four elements of critical thinking. The first one is maintaining doubt and suspending judgment. When you do critical thinking, that means you bring doubt down, and at the same time you stop just depend on the judgment, because you have different kind of overview on time. You will be aware of different perspectives, as we see that could be technology perspective, the organizational perspective, could be people perspective. In a critical thinking, you testing alternatives and letting experience guide you. What we mean, we have different alternatives. We have to look for that alternatives. What's one is the good. Why? Because and what is advantage and disadvantage? What is the pros and cons of that solution? We would like to select solution based on that. Why? Because you critically look for the solutions, which is the best for your companies. Yes, because solutions we cannot say that that problem could be solved by this uh, problem solving or that solution. It is wrong. It will be different solutions, but what is the pros and cons of that solution? Yes, for sure. When you have experience, this experience will guide you to the right way of of looking all your insight. Other than that, being aware of organizational and personal limitation. Yes, for sure. When you trying to solve a problem or someone you when you are someone with skills, problem solving skills and critical thinking skills, when you bring with or you come out with that two skills, you are someone who will understand what is your company size, what is the limitation of your company, what is the limitation of your workers. Yes, management should even fresh graduate. It's very important that we help them to sharpen these skills. Many of assignments you will face in your classes that can help you to solve a problem. Even we have one assignment that you have to think critically how to solve a problem, how to bring new innovation, how to help in a process, and so on. This is how we look for these things. Now, how we connect or make a connection among the business objectives that we see. How many objectives? We have six main objectives to invest. Okay, and the problems that we have and solutions. We have the six main objectives, and what are the problems with three perspectives? Don't forget this one. Three dimensions. The problems could be with organizational dimension. The problems could be with neurological dimension. The problems could be in the people themselves or people dimension. So, what are the connection between these objectives and these problems and the right solution? Yes, very important. When companies would like to achieve that six objectives, they are going to invest with information system. But what is the problem? The problem is that the companies will not know. I mean, to achieve, or they just not looking to information system as a one of solutions that could help them. Because when we see that information system, we don't see that only the IT, because we look for organizational perspective. we look for a people perspective and for sure technology perspective. This is information system of ICT. Okay? So those companies who those cannot achieve their objectives, these objectives become challenges. When companies achieve these objectives, become competitive advantage. Eh? That's why when we look for a problem solving or we would like to improve our business, we have to look for information system because it's guaranteed. That information system, which is include organizational dimension, people dimension, or technology dimension, is guaranteed that can help fully solution to our problems or could be partially, yes, solution. Could be partially solution for our problems. Companies should consider that. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, my dears.
Yes, sir.
Do you hear me? Is things
Yeah.
clear? Do you understand? Is
Can,
it
sir, but
clear?
the connection, yeah, but my connection,
Can you? Yes.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yes. I am recording this class today, and from now I will continue recording classes, so you can log in again to your classes. Okay.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay. You are welcome.
Sir,
Okay. Okay. So now let's move to how information system will affect business career. Wow. This is a big question. What we mean by that big question? Because business, yes, businesses or any kind of a job, either any kind in service companies or manufacturing companies, they will get affected. With how information system could, will affect these companies. Okay, because you as a fresh graduate, you have to have this kind of skills, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and you have to know and to look for company problem solving from three perspectives. Believe me, from now, if you look like that, this chapter is very important. Yes, even it's the first chapter that we start, but for sure you are going to we the next chapter we are going to explain the different business levels, or maybe you took that in a different course, but whatever. This skill is very important. So no one can stay without using information system. Either you are in the different, I mean, in different fields. So the success in today's job market requires a broad set of skills. You, when you graduate, you have to have this kind of skills, technical skills, problem solving skills to get a job. So job candidates must have a problem solving skills as well as the technical skills. So they can complete a specific task. Yes, as we see that. Technical skills, that's mean how to use information system. Because you are in operation management, you are in technology management. What the system for your department? You are accountant. What system you use? Information system for accountant. You are in a finance department. You are in IT department. You are in a human resource department. Each one of these functions, they have their own system or own part. Yes, for sure, all these systems are integrated. Yes, they are integrated. So the service sector. Now here we have this key points because we are looking where the jobs come from. It's come from service sector. What we mean that, for example, here in America, they have 95% of new jobs come from service sector. So we cannot say that just manufacturers they create a job. So 95% from this kind of what do you call it? This kind of services. I mean, these companies, the service companies. Now, operational or operations management. Now we are looking one by one. Is operations management in the service and manufacturing? So who is going to use that system? Is a production manager, because those are production managers or administrative service managers or operations analysts. They are going to use information system. They have to have some kind of skills. What are these skills? You have to have hardware and software platforms for operating management. Yes. What is mean a platform? The system. Like you, students, you have your platforms or you have a system or the portal. You cannot accomplish registration and to follow your things if you don't have a system. Or it is hard to do that because you will do it manually. Manually is not good. Okay? What else? Is use database and analytical software for coordinating and optimizing resources required for producing goods and services. What we mean here is information system can let people to manage that data for a good usability. Managers use data to come out with some information. So how that people or operation management use information system to do that? You have to have skills. You have to have skills how to use that software to help them to do that analysis. Now, accountant. Who is accountant? We know who is accountant who is dealing about records in financial. I mean the money record. Yes, for sure. Those accountants increasingly rely on a information system. All things are systemized. Summarize transaction. How you can summarize transaction? You have to use information system. Create financial records. Organize data and perform financial analysis. All of that's required from accountant. But you have to use systems to have that. So what are the skills they have to have? Knowledge of the database. You have to have online financial transaction and reporting system. And to know how to use the system. Don't tell me that you are accountant or anyone accountant cannot use the system. You will see at the home. They cannot do the job. On how systems are used to achieve accounting function. You have to have the skills. For example, when you do records, when you do some reports, those accountants, you have to know, and they have to have the skills. You have to have that skills to do what? To do this or to accomplish their job. This is in short. Other than that, the financial people, they have to use information system to accomplish their function. What is their function? The finance department. But they have to use that. What is relation between that? Because those financial or those managers or financial managers, they join the top management team. Why? Because they are responsible for money, investment. When you invest in something, what that can bring to the company, it is very important. So they have to do co-measuring with information system because doing kind of investment, you have to know. Now, even when you do uh, on Borsa, you buy and selling, you to work as a broker. You have to know how to use the system for a market exchange, for example. Market exchange, there is a system there. So no one now can stay without using information system. Either you are operation management, you are accountant, you are a financial management, or you are a marketing. But most part here in the market, this marketing is the highest function use information system because nowadays everything's become online. So technology driven, we can see that technology driven, which is hugely they depend on an information system and technology for marketing, for advertising, and everything. What are the skills of marketing needed? You, if you work in the marketing department, what are the skills? What I'm saying that you could, when you graduate from technology management or operation management, you could have a job not just in your department. You could have a job in the marketing. You could have a job with some field in the logistic or any kind of department. You have to know the system. So information system or ICT skills is very important. That's why I all the time I advise my students, you have to have the skills. You have to have ICT minor because nowadays nothing's is running without ICT or information system. So this skill is very important. So enterprise system for product management, sales force management, customer relationship management, all of that systems. So how management or how companies could use IS or information system to manage their marketing function. Another thing is management. Job of management without change. Even lecturers, you know lecturers, we have to know how to use this system. Yes, for sure. Not just me. Me, I have a computer science background. But those lecturers, even you are with English teacher or lecturers, teacher with English, I mean English teacher or any kind of field, you have to know how to use computers. You have to know how to use your portal. You have to know how to develop classes. You know that now we started to think about how we can develop e or online learning classes or e-learning classes, open classes. It is very important. So either you are with ICT background or not ICT background, you have to cope with the changes. You have to attend classes to help you how to design this kind of courses. Because now shifting, you see. Yes, we're planning to use MOOC for our class. I mean, for our ICT. We are planning, and maybe in this semester, yes, for sure. So, how information system will affect business in information system themselves? Is the department information system. This is a kind of a profession. Yes, because when you have information system skills, this kind of a profession is changing very fast. Why? Because the technology is changing very fast. When you are a professional with information system, you have to be adapted with a lot of things. Why? Because information system is changing very fast and different tools and information system is used to achieve that business objective. We have to use them to help firms to achieve the business firm's key objective. Information system could be developed by companies or could be, I mean, domestic systems or could be from offshore outsourcing. What we mean by that? We mean that information system could not be developed. Some companies cannot develop their information system by themselves and buy from other company. That company could be from domestic. For example, those companies buy software from Malaysia, from other company in Malaysia. Or some companies, big companies, sometimes we would like to buy from India or from America, from Europe. Why? It depends. It depends on the your firm needs, and for sure, it depends on some companies. They have their own perspective. Yes. So how to choose the source of your operating system or your information system. It depends on your objective. So, what are the skills for information system skills? This, as we see, is a professional and very fast changing because technology changes all the time. What are the skills? Use of a new and emerging calculator to achieve it. Why we use information system for companies to achieve its objectives. Don't forget that. Ability to take relationship or leadership, sorry, role in the design and implementation of new information system. You as information system professional, you have to know that. How to help to achieve six of these objectives. What are the systems that should be developed and that help and work with leaders to bring up the new information system that include activities which is can improve this. So outsourcing and offshoring, what we mean by that, that two types could be outsourcing from domestic and could be from outshore. I mean offshoring or outsourcing from international. Why? What we are trying to see here is when you buy system, the vendors could be local, could be international. And some companies would like to buy from India and China because it is a general systems that is commonly used now. So if you buy from domestic, could be the cost could be high. So companies would like to do what? Companies they would like to have this kind of system from low cost wages. Low cost wages countries means that countries or that companies can bring the system with less price than others. This is normally for general systems. But when you have specialized and critical systems, companies like to do their own system. It's developed by their own. It's not general because sometimes it is security is very important and depends on your I mean as a company, your niche. Uh, Now, what is required from you or from all majors? Now, what you have to have, you are studying now degree, and what you have to have this kind of points. Let me explain to you. When you graduated, when you go to find a job, you have to have skills and you have some roles that you have to accomplish. First, you have to help companies how to achieve these six business objectives. You have to uh, understand how to use database, how to manage database, because the data inside database it is a big source. Yes, a big resources for the company and a big source for information that you can analyze data to come out with information that can help yes in doing a business or corporate strategy. Business analytics and intelligence systems, yes, as we see that system is very important. We will discuss about a lot of systems that and applications that can help companies to achieve their objectives because that business intelligence. Working with specialists and system designers. You have to have this kind of skills and to put in your mind that we have to do all these things. Doesn't you just do data entry or record. No, you have to think critical. Other than that, you have to know that ethical, social, legal environment and some related issue when you're doing business. It's because ethical and social and legal issues is very important and the code of conduct your job as a professional, because you will be a professional after you graduate. Some companies and some departments that use of IT to meet legal requirements. It is like that. Okay? Alright? So this kind of skills that you as a graduate or fresh graduate, later when you graduate, you have to put in your mind. So today we finish this chapter, and let me give you bowling now. I would like to ask some question, and you have to answer this question. Okay, let me stop recording. Okay. Now, now I will do a bowling, and I will ask you to do certain kind of. Okay. We do bowling.